A chroeso I ddinas Cardiff ac I seremoni radio Prifysgol Cardiff. Good afternoon and welcome to the city of Cardiff and to the graduation ceremony of Cardiff University. I'm Dr. Chris Turner, and it's with great pleasure that, as University Director, I welcome you all to today's graduation ceremony. We're here to celebrate our students' achievements, and I'm particularly pleased to welcome parents, family and friends to join in this celebration. Students, today marks a marvellous milestone in your life, as it does in the lives of those who have supported you over the last few years. And it is so good to see that so many of them are here today. Now, I'm sure it will enhance your understanding and enjoyment of the day if we spend just a few moments going through the procedures for the ceremony. For those of you receiving an award today, perhaps you thought that your exams was the biggest challenge in gaining your degree, but I can assure you an even bigger challenge faces you today. You still have to cross this stage and shake hands with the correct person. Try not to seek your awards from anyone else but the Vice Chair of Council of the University, Mr. Dick Roberts, will formally open proceedings, and the Vice Chancellor, Dr. David Grant, will receive you to your award. You've already met our Chief Marshal, Professor David Williams, and shortly I'll be joined here on stage by academic staff, presenters, the proclamation reader and the representative of the Students' Union. Behind me will sit Professor Paul Atkinson, the university's orator, and later in the ceremony he will introduce our honorary fellows. Honorary fellowships are awarded at our graduation ceremonies to those who have achieved international distinction in their field, and today we are honoured to welcome Mr. John Bell and Professor Ian Nussey. Now, you'll see that the words used for the various stages of the ceremony are printed in your programme under the relevant heading. A presenter will read out the names of the students being admitted to the same award. When each name is called, the student will ascend the stage, walk towards the Vice-Chancellor and shake his hand. Whilst past experience has shown this to be a little more challenging than it sounds, your approach to the stage and your return to your seat will be carefully guided by our specially trained marshals. So don't worry. Once the ceremony is underway, it really is a case of follow my leader. Now, when you leave the stage, you will stand with your group facing the stage, and the Vice-Chancellor will formally receive you to your awards. You will doff in reply, and you will then be reseated by the marshals. When all awards have been received, students will be asked to stand to receive the university's greetings. Finally, can I remind you that St. David's Hall is non-smoking? Can I also ask, how many of you have your mobile phones with you today? Perhaps you'd just like to check your pockets or handbags and make sure that it is switched off. Now, we'll be providing some musical entertainment later in the ceremony, and I can assure you it'll be better than anything your combined ringtones can produce between you. Also, and importantly, can I invite you to clap only after the Vice-Chancellor has admitted each group of graduates to their awards, and not as each student crosses the stage. This will ensure that your hands are still in reasonable working order by the end of the ceremony. The ceremony will now proceed with the road procession of academic staff led by the Chief Marshal. Thank you very much for listening. And most important of all, enjoy the ceremony. Thank you.
Bonedigon y bonnet gesau. Mae brysur gen i groesawu i'r sereni radio a Nail Dewi Sound heddiw. Good afternoon. Welcome to Cardiff and to St David's Hall. May I first introduce myself? I'm Dick Roberts and I have the privilege to be Vice Chair of the Council of this university. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to the graduation ceremony, and in so doing, I wish to extend a particularly warm welcome to those parents, partners and others whose support has given those who are celebrating their degree the success they're achieving today. May I also add my personal congratulations to all of you who are graduating. You have studied to have earned your place at this ceremony and to achieve a valuable qualification from a distinguished university which has more than a century of service and achievement behind it, and a very bright future in front of it. You can be confident in the qualification which you have earned from Cardiff University, and it's held in the highest regard, not just in the UK, but worldwide. This reputation has been earned because of the importance which the university attaches to its teaching mission. Our pride in the quality of the awards that Cardiff University offers is backed up by the strong and clear external endowments received from the QAA, the Quality Assurance Agency, and from many professional accrediting bodies with whom the university works. To maintain these high standards, the university continues to invest in important areas. For example, recently, staff have just moved into a new building of the School of Optometry and Vision Sciences, where the university has invested over £20 million, providing space and resources for world-class teaching and research. Work is underway towards the transformation of the university's library services, and that is a major investment in the 21st century IT technology well underway. Employers endorse that quality. The university continues to be targeted by major employers, and the employment levels of our graduates remain very strong. I trust that has been the experience of those of you who are about to start your careers. Cardiff is one of Britain's leading research universities, ranked 7th out of 106 institutions for the quality of its research excellence. With well over, in this year, £100 million of competitive research grants won by the university, we look forward to continuing to push for discovery and knowledge that delivers significant social, cultural and economic benefits and makes a difference to the lives of people in terms of health, employment, culture and, most importantly, quality of life. Promoting health and welfare, with special reference to the needs of Wales, is an important role for the university and one which is fulfilled by a strong interdisciplinary and multi-partnership approach. Central among our partners in this all-Wales role is the National Health Service, which with the university is linked at all levels, the Welsh Assembly Government, the National Museums and the Galleries of Wales. This year, back in January, a new and exciting venture was the opening of the prestigious Cardiff International Academy of Voice, a world-class institution for exceptional singers at an early stage of their professional careers. As recently as 2 weeks ago, Si Jean-Luc, a student at the Academy, won first prize in the Stuart Burroughs competition, beating, on that occasion, a finalist from the Singles World. Under the directorship of Welsh tenor Dennis O'Neill, the Academy concentrates on musical, stylistic and vocal technique. We're delighted that Luciano Batella, a student of the Academy, will perform for us later in the ceremony. There is much that I could point to as evidence of the international distinction of the university, including the prizes, awards and other distinctions earned by the academic staff, the numerous designated centres of excellence, ranging from our old Wolfson Centre for Magnetics Technology to our National Centre for Research in the Built Environment to our Centre for Energy, Waste and the Environment. The list is long and distinguished. But let's return to the ceremony itself with the reading of the graduation proclamation in English and Welsh by Angharad George, who is currently undertaking PhD studies in the School of Welsh.
Nerth gwlad ei gwybodaeth. Boed hysbys i holl aelodau'r brifysgol ac ar hyd a lled y byd, fod cynulliad o Brifysgol Caerdydd yn cael ei gynnal heddiw ym Mhrifddinas Cymru. O dan awdurdod Siarter Frenhinol y Brifysgol, mae'r cynulliad hwn yn cyfarfod i dderbyn y myfyrwyr sydd yn rhinwedd eu hastudiaethau a'i hysgolheictod, wedi ei haroli'n briodol yn unol â statudau'r Brifysgol, ac wedi eu cael yn deilwng o'i graddau. Wrth ddathlu llwyddiant y rhai sy'n graddio yn y cynulliad hwn, fe'i hatgoffwn o'i cyfrifoldeb i gyfrannu o werthoedd y brifysgol hon. Nod iddynt hwy yw ceisio drwy eu cyflawniadau, wasanaethu lles pawb, ymdrechu sicrhau rhagoriaeth ym mhob peth ac yn boeni am ddyfodol ein byd. Gwrandewch yn awchus ar ddoethineb gan ei fod yn cynnig gobaith a gwirionedd ym mhob cenhedlaeth. Nerth gwlad ei gwybodaeth. A nation's strength is in its learning. Let it be known to all members of the university and throughout the world that today in the capital city of Wales, a congregation of Cardiff University is taking place. Under the authority of the university's Royal Charter, this congregation meets to receive those students who, by virtue of their studies and scholarship, have been appropriately examined according to the statutes of the university and found worthy of their degrees. We celebrate the success of those who graduate in this congregation and in doing so remind them of their responsibility to share in the values of this university. It is for them to seek through their achievements to serve the common good, to strive for excellence in all things and care for the future of our world. Be attentive to wisdom, for it offers hope and truth in every generation.
I, Professor Diane Edwards, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Laura Jane Bacon. Alan Clifford Bissica. Charlotte Amber Chanel. Emma Jane Charles. Nina Christopherson. Claire Collis. Adrian Paul Cummings. David Charles Fish. Elizabeth Helen Louise Hankey. Ian Harris. Katrina Heaney. Robert David Hill. Sean Frederick Hutchinson. Seth Yakul Bradbury Jackson. Andrew John Leeming. Georgina Raquel Lovelace. Francis James Anthony Marsh. Peter Melville Shreve. Hugh Edward Metcalf. Thomas Nathan Miles. Xanthi Hendrika Annette O'Keefe. Paul Stephen Oughton. Rhiannon Ellen Phillips. Ben John Poole. Michael James Poole.
Pnawn da, good afternoon. At this point in the ceremony, and at other equivalent times, it is a tradition of the university for the Vice-Chancellor to speak in Welsh to receive each group of graduates to their awards. The Welsh phrase I will use, when translated, means, "Through the authority conferred upon me by the university, I receive you to the degree, which I will name, and to all the privileges of that degree." Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffrengau raddol. Congratulations.
Heather Dawn Price. Joanne Rock. George Huxley Scrivener. Nia Rhian Sutton. Isabel Louise Try. Jennifer Megan Wallace. Arianwen Emma Watkins. Katrina Louise Feynman. Amy Williams. Josephine Hannah Wiltshire. Ben Matthew Abrahams. James Atkins. Emily Jane Bent. Edward James Coe. John Levin Davis. David Paul Denmead. Michael Brian Derrick. Oliver Richard Turnstall Douthwaite. Ben Durant. Graham Daniel Gadsby. Mark Richard Gaff. William Wilfred Lochiel Lewis. Mark Lynch Staunton. Michael Joseph Monroe. Isabel Mary Nash.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffrengau raddol. Congratulations.
Edward Osman. Timothy Richard Poole. Phil Mark Sales. Richard Christopher Sykes. Francis Edward Barnabas Reddin. James Robert West. Anna Louise Wynne. Craig Gary Alice. James William Geoffrey Bevan, Helen Marion Paula Brown, Stephen John Brown, Frances Elizabeth Cullen, Daniel Peter Fry, Kurt Hatton, Richard Heath, Matthew Alexander Jones, Caleb Lambourne, Jeremy David Leach, Andrew Edward Morgan, Ian Thomas Mugford, Derek Richard Lascelles Pollard, Nicholas Swan, David James Ware, Ross Akers.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
Duncan Andrew Bell, Ralph Edward Bostock, Christopher Lloyd Brett, Gavin Russell Brown, Victoria Louise Case, Patrick Leo Conn, Julia Mary Davis, Joanna Dingle, James Robert Dougal, Simon James Dwight, Aaron Joe Gabby, Richard Neil Hancock, Oliver Hardcastle, Christopher Harris, Suzanne Katie Hine, Richard Joseph Holloway, Victoria Jane Hookham, Kira Emma Hovey, Alex Stanley Ross Hudson, Paul James, Annie Jenkin, Catherine Fiona Jenkins, Shinos Jenkins, Mark Edward Jenner,
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
John Little. Alistair Lawrence Maltby. Richard Anthony Martin. Andrew Stephen Mays. James Pierre Medland. Katie Emmanuel Munden. Samuel Edward Moore. Kerry Ann Morgan. Alessia Laura Nowell. James Morman. Stephen Page. Laura Payne. Robert Allen Penrose. Andrew Gordon Probert. John Henry James Ramsdale. Karen Roberts. Rishi Rain. Thomas Sidney. Holly Ellen Smith. Justina Southworth. Jack Christopher Stephen. Richard Paul Thomas. Matt Timsey. Rachel Ann Williams. James Woodford.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreinio'r rahon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Diane Edwards, introduce those who have received the degree of Master in Earth Sciences. Gavin Charles. Judith Ann Coggan. Mark Thomas Ireland. Caris Dusha Thomas. Rosie Naratamas Barnes. Nicola Claire Dakin. Samuel Edward Eden.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddorau'r ddear ac I holl ffreinio'r rahon. Congratulations.
Anrhydeddu syth ganghellor, cyflwynaf I ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni a enillodd radd baglor mewn peirianneg. I, Professor Howell Thomas, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Engineering. Matthew Dean Ace. Osman Ahmed. Muna Rashid Al-Rashid. Catherine Michelle Bostock. Adam de Benedictus. Ian Michael Green. Abdullah Jafar. Amit Mansha. Morgan Yeyan Morgan. Caris Non Rees. Julian Benjamin Stewart. Paul Jack Avery. Wei Jin Go. Craig David Hughes. Alifa Ahmad. Lance Michael Angosta. Xiong Yui Chua. Colin Andrew Day. Simon Dunn. Daniel John Evans. Simon James Gilmore. Saif Katan Bajad Haddadin.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaf chwi I radd baglor mewn peiriennau ac I holl ffreniau'r rathon. Congratulations.
William Howe. Johan Meirig Hughes. Samuel James Leftley. Kwok Wing Lee. Tong Wai Luk. Rishab Mittal. Gareth David Moss. Garrick Pong Wing Poon. Fezan Sikandar Rafiq Sharif. Sidesh Sprout. David Anthony Ripley. Hayden Glynn Roberts. Ashley Stewart Ross. Henry George Thamam. Konstantina Samoiliou. Abhijit Shetty. Jiang Song. Bao Hua Sun. Ning Sung. Jung Bon Si. James Welsh. Hinman Wong. Wai Shun Wong. Jinhui Yu.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac ei holl ffreniau'r rahon. Congratulations.
Hai Bo Zhang, Qin Zhao Zhang, Wenzong Zhang, Robert Owen Bevan, Asif Hussain, Nathan James Randall, Kirill Sidorov, Scott Wood, Avinash Agrawal, Ahmad Siahiri Ayub, Sazwata Bozo, Kubilai Kanaltei, Jonathan David Champion, David Andrew Clark, Anurag Doshi, Stephen James Goman, John Guran, Makram Gusas, Alistair Jameson, Rhys Edward Jones, Simon William Jones, Peter Kirk, Ziling Lu, David Mark Melia,
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau'r rahon. Congratulations.
Imran Ali Raja, Darren John Rees, John Michael Renshaw, Konstantinos Stamatis, Jonathan Williams, Simon Philip Woodington, Liam Patrick Banks, Kim Stephan Chilver, David Charles Churchman, Ryan Kostadinos Graminos, Ian John Howells, Jacob David Lee Wilson, James Lewis, Graham Peter Moore, Daniel Sabine, Payush Singh, Peter Thomas John Wright, Christopher William Karzik, Alexander Theodore Spiropoulos, Bledin Owen Carrington, Andrew Michael Francis, Andrew David Keeble.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol, ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaeth chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl frenyar ryhon. Congratulations.
Emmanuel Coifo, Kit Hung Lam, Sam Noel Robinson, Matthew John Skinner, Miles Strong, Sarah Jane Vaughan, Alan Philip Winnie, Mohamed Alawati, Ali Rupman Haji Perudin, Matthew Richard Harris, Sam Caligari, James Corliss, James Alexander Crook, David William Davis, James Anthony George Ford, Matthew Liam Forrester, Daniel Brian Gilby, Adam John Gurr, Samuel Hall, Joseph Eric Hodgetts, Afiq Asa Jaffa, Lakal Jayadisha Di Jayas Akera, Sam Jinks.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaeth chwi I radd baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl frenyar ryhon. Congratulations.
Omid Kakshul, Robert Edward Mellin, Hodi Mirzai, Joseph Morgan, Sean Murphy, Richard Pedder, Robert Douglas Perham, Afiq Siazwan Razizad, James John Edgar Richmond, Normalini Alaini Rosalie, Jamie Stewart, Dionysius Simis, Scott Franklin Wiley, Kevin Wynne Williams, Natasha Jane Chorley, Philippa Isabel Matos Ferreira, Scott Finley, Nathan Christopher Peter Martin, Daniela Ortiz Fanyuti, Mehdi Sadaralu, Samuel Smith, Edward Wilfred Geary Stanley, Lindsay Ann Stroud, Andrew Samuel Vick.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniau chwi I rar baglor mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau rohon. Congratulations.
Anrhydeddus Is Gangellor, cyflwynaf I ti ddisgyblion o'n prifysgol ni yn y lloddfadd athro mewn peirianneg. I, Professor Howell Thomas, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Engineering. Gabrielle Burton, Hannah Cotton, Hannah Davis, Thomas William Firth, Christopher Michael Gaskell, Owain Morgan, Matthew David Chester Pierce, Alexander Philip Redioff, Simon Matthew Hills, James Littler, Gemma May Roberts, Amy Elizabeth Shoesmith, Theodoros Antonopoulos, Claire Louise Ashford, George Alden Ballard, Jonathan David Bell, Charles John Bennett, David James Bledin, Stephen Robert Butler, Samuel Cavender Price, Jonathan Woon Ho Chong, Christos Christ Ododlo.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniau chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreinio'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Kate Cooksey, Alexander Daniels, Simon Davis, Yolo Evans, Roger Nicholas Fairs, Olga Nia Furlong, Paul Albert Gaz, Dimitrios Hangis, Alistair John Hart, Ben Isaacs, David Jobling, Laura Kimberly Jones, Kieran Michael Kelly, Mark Andrew Legg, Jackie Pui Chun Lung, Kwok Kung Lung, Konstantinos Moshakis, Matthew David Moss, Andrew Richard Moverley, Alexandra Kate Pearson, Shi Yan Fang, Sian Mallory Price, Marion Eirig Rees, Graham Roberts.
Trwy awdurdod o brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniau chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreinio'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Victoria A.R. Sambrook, Edward Duncan Sanders, Stephen Saunders, George Skalkayanis, Hugh William Sprackman, Peter John Wilfred Stanbury, Charles Edwin Starkey, Robin Peter Harold Wood, Simon James Bowring, Fabian Brockham, David Paul James Butler, Martin Cole, Ian Alexander Hill, Barnaby Philip Munn, Randeep Saini, Nazatul Amina Abdul Malek, Shani Ahmad Sabki, Noor Fazrina Ahmad Fadzil, James Anthony Cottle, Stephen Ian Davis, Ahmad Mod Ali, Hussein Mod Fahmy, Lawrence O'Hara, Stephen Robson.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd athro mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau'r radd hon. Congratulations.
Kellis Ross, Rhiannon Dunstan, Alan Clark, Robert Anthony Edmonds, Robert John Fuchs, Timothy David Morris, Jack Alexander Naylan, Nithathini Thamilarasu, Joss Plant, Gregory James Bennett, Benjamin Nigel Carruthers-Watt, Joanne Elizabeth Goslin, Stefan Stoyanovich, Sarah Waghorn, Thomas Willis, Jonathan Mark Davidson, Azran Ahmad, Benjamin Bolans, Mark Francis Byrne, Thomas James Cannon, Graham Carr, Refat Abdallah Abdel Hamid El Malik, David Michael Evans,
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd athro mewn peiriannau ac I holl ffrengau rachon. Congratulations.
Ivan William Evans, Nicholas Gent, Catherine Rhiannon Griffith, Paul Andrew Thomas Grist, Richard James Grounds, Jonathan Henry Hampshire, Samuel David Keane, Matthew Edward King, Christopher Simon Lloyd, Stuart James McKechnie, Matthew Lee Morris, David Edwin Payne, James Alexander Peru, Nathan Joel Fazy, Gemma K. Pritchard, Gemma Ruth Reed, John Howell Richards, Innes Ross, Laura Elizabeth Speck, Benjamin Thomas Kyle Turner, Joel Udo, Micah Udo, Michael Edward Underwood, Nicholas Roy Wigley, Benjamin Peter Wright, Lucy Sarah Allinson Bailey.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd athro mewn peiriannau ac I holl ffrengau'r rachon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Philip Jones, introduce those who have received the degree of Bachelor of Science. Abigail Sarah Darling, Rebecca Louise Bedford, Kylie Jane Bickford, Thomas Jeffrey Brigden, Nicola Jane Buckley, Amy Victoria Brooksbutt, Fionnuala Eileen Byrne, Emily Constance Sesford, Daniel Rowland Courtney, Ben Digby Crawley, Angharad Mair Davis, James Llewellyn Davis, Heidi Cordelia Fitch Day, Lawrence Morgan Duck, Yovcho Nadelchev Gorchev, Emily Amy Haddon, Philippa Grace Hall, Samantha Leslie Hall, Jack William Hughes.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
Gethin Wyn Jones, Adam Calopsidiotis, Thomas Daniel Kent, Sarah Kersley, Jennifer Ann Lee, Chong Liu, Daniel M.E. Mahoney, Samantha May Manson, Jennifer Louise Matravers, Catriona Moe, James Morgan, Andrew Cameron Morrison, Catherine Nixon, Rosanna Kirabo Payne, Brioni Hannah Elensa Paul, Paul Pickering, Jacqueline Pollard, Christopher Radley, Diana Rashkova, Heather Amries.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau radd hon. Congratulations.
Jonathan Charles Rees, Michael Lloyd Rees, Nikolaos Retiniotis, Rebecca Ann Clare Ridge, Murtaza Rizzi, Aston Thomas Richard Roberts, Thomas David Roberts, Melissa Robinson, John Paul Rogers, Sean Ellen Rookwood, Laura Simonite, Matthew James Slynn, Louise Elizabeth Southwell, Catherine Marianne Stoner, Ka Ain Toy, Daniel Allen Walters, Emma Christina Ward, James Alexander Webb, Kerry Williams, Delith Meyer Williams, John Woods, Jinjay Tommy Jow.
Trwy awdurdod y brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniaeth chwi I rar baglor mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffrengau'r rodd hon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Philip Jones, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Architecture. Kirsten Anderson, Nicholas Frederick Arthurl, David Luke Bray, Stephen Chin Teng Cha, Safo Gama, Philip David Henshaw, William Brian Holt, Robert Andrew Jarrett, Bonnie Lillian Kitchen, Joanna Mitchell, Eve Mertson, Rowan Parnell, Victoria Mary Ann Ridge, Gareth Joseph Roach, Katie Sarah Robinson, Marie Claire Sherry, Robert James Stevens, Christina Mary Stewart, Robert Hugh Thomas, Raymond Brian Verrill, Thomas Andrew Wainwright, Christopher Francis Wilkins, Adam John Willets, Matthew Charles Williams, Michael James Worthington, Hannah Eliza Yoel, Marianne Zylstra.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd athro mewn pensaernïaeth ac I holl ffreiniau rahon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Teresa Rees, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Science. Elizabeth Nancy Lewis. Alexander Baldwin. Daniel Paul Barnett. Daniel James Bater. Nelly Belikova. Naushaba Anjumbati. Melanie Kelliers. Richard Matthew Griffiths. Mark Howarth. Petrula Mansos. Konstantinos Panayopoulos. Robert James Smithson. Georgina Southgate. Thomas Robert Webster. Eleni Kokoni. Sean Howe. Etherimia Kanagohuni. Christina Kitmiridhu. Po Sheng Lin. Yahad McCarty. Edmundo Gill. Xiao Hong He. Shaolin Liang. Grui Singh Song. Simon Ashley Westwood. Lufan Wu.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau rahon. Congratulations.
Holly Pullen. Richie Bauer. Ronnie McDermott. Vanasin Pillai Virasana. James Edward Blackwell. Andrew James Gray. Thomas Royston Harding. Kayang Luo. Lucy Ann Cleverly. Mohammed Sultanul Islam. Suryani Haji Muhammad Islam. Simon David O'Rourke. Michelle Emma Robinson. Alan Robert Smith. Alexander Charles Taylor. Laura Rhiannon Trodon. Agustin Valera Medina. Asha Kacharya. David Boardman. Anna Elizabeth Fox. Kiwei Kevin Hoare. Tricky Sivarazangan Rajagopo. Royston Dwayne Wharton. Yu Hao. Liang Yung Hie Huang. Neil Ray Parnell. Stuart Russell. Ji Yang. And Fabian Mudoti.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniau chwi I radd athro mewn gwyddoniaeth ac I holl ffreniau raddon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Teresa Rees, introduce those who have received the degree of Master of Philosophy. Daniel Roy Ayres. Mark Philip James.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniau chwi I radd athro mewn athroniaeth ac I holl ffreniau raddon. Congratulations.
I, Professor Teresa Rees, introduce those who have received the degree of Doctor of Engineering. David Michael Jones.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd doethaf mewn peirianneg ac I holl ffreniau rachol. Congratulations.
I, Professor Teresa Rees, introduce those who have received the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Adlansaya Abdul Rahman. Matthew Jeffrey Baxter. Christopher James Bullen. Eugene Ujaraja Andrew Charles. Ram Ragotham Rao Deshmukh. Carlo Ferry. Andrew Glyn George. Anthony Peter Giles. David Holwell. Andrew Edward Hopkins. Alexander Hoshtana. Zerji. Kelvin Vincent Jones. Anita Kapadia. George Spiridon Katandras. And Peter John Kay.
Trwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd doethaf mewn athroniau ac I holl ffreniau rachol. Congratulations.
Jonathan Lees. Richard Mark Lilly. David Lincoln. Liu. Shamsani Effendi bin Mohammed Din. Anastasia Maluna. Marianne Nelson. Victoria Louise Peck. Neil Ross. Leo Shoka. Peter Theobald. James Robinson Wheely. Juan Ahmad Yusmazia Yusuf.
Rwy awdurdod a brifysgol a ymddiriedwyd I mi derbaniad chwi I radd doethau'r mewn chroniau ac ei holl freiniau raddol. Congratulations.
Can I now invite all of you who have received your awards this afternoon to stand so that you can receive the greetings of the Vice Chair of Council, Mr. Dick Roberts, and the President of the Students' Union, Mr. Joe Alkayat. Please stand.
Roedd y gwbl y wastad dros lywydd and rydydd ein brifysgol and gwlad. May your care ever be for the success and good name of our university and our country.
You are now members of the distinguished alumni of this university. May your association with the university be cherished and be constant throughout your life, and may your care forever be for the fellowship of our university and the welfare of all people. And can I personally thank you, all of you, for the support you have given the Students' Union during your time here at Cardiff. Thank you.
Before you sit down, I'm sure that all you very proud graduates would like to join in a long-standing tradition at Cardiff University at these ceremonies, and that is to pay a special tribute to your families and friends who have supported you in so many ways over many years, not least financially, and indeed to thank the academic staff who have helped you reach this important point in your life today. Can I therefore invite you to turn around to greet your family and friends and to say a special and public thank you to them by giving them all an enthusiastic round of warm applause. Thank you. Please be seated.
Vice-Chancellor, sir, I have the honour to present John Bell as Honorary Fellow at the University. I wonder, sir, how many New Yorkers realise that recent works in public architecture that have restored the glory of many of New York's public buildings are the work of a Welshman. They are. They are the achievements, among many others, of John Bell, whose contribution to public architecture in the United States has been unparalleled. John Bell was born in Cardiff, and like many talented Welsh people, he's taken his talents to North America, where he has pursued a distinguished career as an architect since 1959. Having sailed the Atlantic, his first view of New York was of Ellis Island, as it had been and continues to be for countless migrants to the United States. He little thought, I'm sure then, that a quarter of a century later, he would be working to restore Ellis Island's National Museum of Immigration. As he himself has observed, the first owner of the island, Sam Ellis, was from Flintshire in Wales, and so the Welsh connection came full circle. As a founding partner of Bayer Blinda Bell, John Bell has been involved in very many New York projects, restoring and renewing the great buildings of New York City, the Rockefeller Center, the Chrysler Building, Grand Central Terminal, among them. He has also undertaken numerous projects for the State University of New York. 3 of his projects have won the Presidential Design Award, the United States' highest award for public architecture. He is a Fellow of the American Institute of Architects, a member of the Royal Institute of British Architects, and he is an Honorary Fellow of the Royal Society of Architects in Wales. I'm told, sir, that Mr. Bell recognises at least 2 distinctive Welsh influences on his work, the castles and the bridges of his homeland. It is therefore especially fitting that he has now contributed to one of Wales's newest landmarks, the National Botanic Garden of Wales, for which he has designed the new Tropical House, a magnificent structure that is a major addition to the United Kingdom's first new National Botanic Garden for over 200 years. He has also said that he would love to be able to work on the centre of Cardiff. Those of us, sir, who picked our way through the various building sites in the centre of Cardiff to get here today, I'm sure will join me in fervently hoping that he has that opportunity. And rydylus is gan hechlor, cyflwyna fi ti John Bell, fel camrawd ar anhreddedd Prifysgol Cardiff.
Rwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd I mi gan y cyngor derbaniad di fel cymrawd anhreddedd Prifysgol Caerdydd.
I'll keep my remarks quite short. I think by now you're all just bursting and dying to get out of this room. I admire greatly your discipline. Sitting up here in the grandstand, as it were, I just had 2 slightly frivolous comments to perhaps break the ice a little bit. I was able to observe minutely the wardrobe and the decor of all of the candidates walking across the stage. And I offer just 2 suggestions or comments. First of all, the women get grade A. Everyone had a good hair day. Congratulations. The guys, let's polish the shoes a little bit. Thank you so much for this really great and generous honor. And I thought perhaps the best way to acknowledge it was to limit my remarks to my fellow architects, because that's really what I'm about. There were many generous words that have been spoken today, and if, as well as being generous, some of them are accurate, I hope they are, I'd like to offer you a little bit of the background that has shaped me. First, a word or 2 about Cardiff, the place. Cardiff, the city that shaped me. Growing up as a schoolboy, I was impressed by a number of very contrasting parts of Cardiff. The tough dockland scene, for example, was that in my school days, a major coal-exporting port. And little did I realize then, but its tall, towering cranes that I looked up at with such great admiration really were making associations in my mind with that future world of skyscrapers that I went to. And by contrast, the dignified, the wonderful setting of Cardiff's civic centre, which was laid out in the 20s and the 30s to the best principles of urban design, that was my first exposure to the idea that a city can do much to create its own identity if it really wants to by planning civic functions and well-designed spaces and handsome buildings to be the core of that community. And then thirdly, one of my favorites that even this morning I couldn't resist enjoying a little bit, Cardiff's central shopping streets, linked together with a wonderful web of pedestrian arcades that give the city an entirely unique flavor. So looking back, I see now just how the period of my growing up is really such a great illustration, if you will, of that saying that I'm sure you all know, we shape our buildings and then they shape us. Cardiff, for me, shaped me. Cardiff for me was also a memory, I must confess, of many family memories, very happy celebrations, usually weddings or births, or because it was World War II, homecomings of people coming home from the war. And the one memory in all of them, of course, is how whatever house you were in, it was full of song and music. That, too, I think, stayed with me. It stayed with me also, the other side of that coin, the somewhat frightening memories of the air raids, the fires, the destruction. They're all still powerful 60 years later. So those, briefly, are some of my memories of a Cardiff that I needed, first of all, before I really would appreciate it, I needed to escape from, so that before I could become the architect I wanted to, I could know something more of the world. So having done that, there's so much pleasure in returning quite regularly, as I do now, and confirming to myself how strong that link to Cardiff remains. To know that I can return to Cardiff and still soak up the vibrant environment of those beautiful arcades. Visit the reinvented Dockland and see again the Civic Centre clock tower on the skyline. All of those things generate memories of considerable pleasure and comfort that my city of birth has still got it, as I say. Some many centuries ago, perhaps 1,000 years ago, a Roman architect, he was really more of a master builder, called Vitruvius, gave as instructions to his craftsmen his simple definition of what were the qualities that created fine architecture. A building, he said, shall have above all else 3 fundamental qualities: firmness, commodity, and delight. So today I offer you, the graduating class of architects, the simple yet challenging charge to inspire you and your journey and your buildings, and make sure that they have lasting qualities that come from the firmness of using the best of materials and the best of construction. May they be the result of such design skill that they will accommodate ingeniously future generations' needs. And may their physical form give delight and pleasure to generations of users. Firmness, commodity, and delight, fellow architects. That should be your goal. So go to it. Begin today. Life begins today. And fulfill your most ambitious dreams. But perhaps I might suggest, as I did, that you remember your roots. And one day, you may be coming back to Cardiff as I do and be as lucky as I am. Thank you so much.
Vice-Chancellor, sir, I have the honour to present Ian Nussey as Honorary Fellow of Cardiff University. Ian Nussey did not expect to become a systems engineer, but changed his mind, apparently. When he took up employment before going up to Cambridge University, he discovered what is in fact an old truth, that actuaries are people who find accountancy far too exciting. The choice of engineering proved a wise one. The loss to actuarial science was the gain of engineering and industry. In 4 years at Lucas Industries and 45 years at IBM, he tells us he has hardly ever been bored or unhappy. Ian Nussey's career at IBM, sir, has been an impressive array of successes. In 1970, for instance, he led a major interactive graphics project that led to several significant innovations. Other initiatives included the development of what was to become IBM Copix, a novel electronic office system. He also led the IBM team involved in the Euro Diabeta program, which explored the use of information technology in improving chronic health care, using diabetes as the key example. Perhaps most significantly of all, at IBM, he established himself as a research mentor, leading his own elite and graduate program. Indeed, his commitment to education and training remain unabated today. Today, 10 years after his formal retirement, he still handles university relations for the company. He was elected a Fellow of the Royal Academy of Engineering in 1985 and was appointed OBE in 1988. He has had numerous visiting professorships, and his association with Cardiff University is a long and fruitful one. He's been an honorary professor here in Cardiff for over 20 years. He is a distinguished and valued member of our School of Engineering's Industrial Advisory Board, and I'm told, sir, that his contribution to that body is inimitable. Sadly, because it is inimitable, I have persuaded nobody to tell me exactly what it consists of, and I shall certainly make absolutely no attempt, sir, to imitate him while I present him to you for his honorary fellowship. Yn rydeddus is gan hethlor, cyflwynaf I ti Ian Nussey, fel camrawd ar anrhyded Prifysgol Cardiff.
Rwy'r awdurdod a roddwyd yn ni gan y Cyngor derbaniadu fel cymrawd anrhyded Prifysgol Caerdydd.
Diolch am y geiriau garedig hwnna sy'n crynhoi hanfod o'r amrywiau sbri ac a faes hwn fy gynera. Ac yw'r maint rwy'n mwynhau fy mwynhau o Celpid. I think enough of that, really. Except that I left something out. Welsh speakers may have spotted that there was no opening salutation. And there was a good reason for that, because although I was pretty sure that I could rely on Professor Put Evans, I remembered what another university's Vice-Chancellor once told me. He'd been invited to open a big Russian conference. He too had found a friend to translate his opening words, but just before he was due to speak, he realized that he'd forgotten the customary courtesies. And he was a man of initiative, so he dashed downstairs, collared a student, maybe not so wise, and used universal sign language to get a phonetic version of what was on the blue doors. And his speech went down really well, after some initial bewilderment, and finished to a roar of applause. And then afterwards, his host came up to him and said, "Professor West, that was a really wonderful keynote, but you need to know we have never before been addressed as showers and washrooms." So I better start again. Vice-Chancellor, ladies and gentlemen, and in particular, all you new graduates, your families and friends, I promise to keep you not too long from Luciano Patello and today's temporarily gorgeous weather, not least because I've been warned that if I go over a certain time, the microphone may be turned off. But until then, please bear with me. Starting on a personal note, which, like John Bell, is to thank the university for bringing me into fellowship. I'm the lucky one, of course, because I'm effectively representing so many others who, like me, delight in working with Cardiff. And next, congratulations to all you new graduates, not simply for staying the course, but for choosing the right one. For though, in my case, I can only speak for Newport Road, I'm sure it's the same for all of you. Because you're going to find your Cardiff degree a superb launchpad, not simply for a vocational career, but for whatever you choose. And that includes accountancy, because just last week a Deloitte partner told me how highly they rate engineers and that Cardiff's on their hit list. But I do rather hope that many of you will be going into real industry, because unlike certain other professions, engineering jobs are very rarely dull. And contrary to received wisdom, they do actually pay better than most. But above all, because engineers, and I suppose that's like architects as well, don't just dream about changing the world, they get on and actually do it. And precisely what that's going to mean in this century is going to be up to you, because so much of what's coming isn't even on the radar yet. And that's just like when I graduated. I don't recall anyone then predicting MRI scanners, iPods, cardiac stents, or virtual worlds, just to name but a few, or the incredible improvements in services that we take for granted today, like transport, telecoms, and power generation. And engineers did that, and they're going to do it again. So I'm quite certain that your generation is going to create just as many exciting products as mine has, and that the best is yet to come. And don't believe the received wisdom that Britain will go totally post-industrial. Old industries are all too visibly going away, of course, particularly in South Wales, as they always have. But others have been quietly taking their place. And so engineering still provides 60% of our exports and a sixth of our GDP. I'm sure that you're going to find as much challenge and opportunity and satisfaction as my generation. And if you do take up a vocational career, your experience will belie that famous Yellow Pages old chestnut, that if you look up tunnelling, you get referred to civil engineering boring. Someone asked me what struck me most about my Cardiff Engineering Association. I think above all in this period, seeing the school on an upward trajectory, flourishing, becoming first choice for undergraduates, internationally renowned for research and valued by local industry. And the other thing, I suppose, making so many friends. Less happily, I think navigating the perpetual A449 reconstruction, usually running late and in the rain, and hardly ever seeing anyone working on it. And then there was one memorable pre-PowerPoint experience. One year, I spent an enjoyable evening with the then school head, Dennis Cowell, going through the next day's Industrial Advisory Board agenda. And then around 11 o'clock, I turned to revising my notes for a 9 o'clock lecture. Discovered I'd brought the wrong slide set with me and set off on the 200-mile round trip to get the right one. Now, recently, I mentioned this to one of your professors, and I think you'll understand why I don't dare name him from his response. He said, "I'd have used what I'd got." He said, "At that time of day, they never notice." Now, finally, 4 tips following John Bell based on personal experience. I think the first one is follow the Cardiff recipe. Pursue excellence in all you do with your life, including your choice of friends, your life partners, and your work. And second, to paraphrase Othello, get yourself a mentor. The Oxford English definition is a wise counsellor and faithful friend. And being a mentor is rewarding too. And either way, it's something you will never regret. And third, beware the internet. Lewis Carroll's Alice Through the Looking Glass was published hard copy long before the cyber age. But he definitely knew something was coming when he wrote, "Beware the Jabberwock, my son, the jaws that bite, the claws that catch." Like automatic rejection of your job application just because you forgot to run the spell checker. And the mortal danger from knee-jerk responses to those irritating emails and texts. Count to 10 before you reply. Better still, save your draft and engage in a bit of uffish thought after a good night's sleep, and then revise or even delete. And believe me, I speak from experience. And finally, always express thanks for what others do for you, as I do now. Diolch yn fawr. Thank you for listening to me, and good luck.
It's my pleasure now to introduce Luciano Botello, a student from Cardiff International Academy, who's going to sing Donizetti's aria from The Field de Rougemont. Thank you. He will be accompanied by Catherine Village.
Mes amis, quel jour de fête, je vais marcher sur la peau. À mes amis, quel jour de fête, je vais marcher sur la peau. L'amour qui m'a tourné la tête, désormais me randonne. Oh, quel bonheur! Oui, mes amis, je vais marcher sur mon drapeau, je vais marcher sur mon drapeau. C'est lui pour que je respire, à mes oreilles sourire, et c'est douce espoir et bonheur, double ma raison et mon cœur. Ah, mes amis, quel jour de fête, je vais marcher sur vos drapeaux. Ah, mes amis, quel jour de fête, je vais marcher sur vos drapeaux. Je vais marcher sur vos drapeaux, je vais marcher. Ah, mes amis, je vais marcher sur vos
Going out on a high. It's my duty to draw proceedings to a close. This is one of the most pleasurable experiences and times in the university calendar, and it's a pleasure to be on the platform and to see the pride and indeed the relief on the new graduates as they cross the stage. As you leave the university, I want to reflect on two things. The first is indebtedness. You already thanked your parents, Student Loan Company, Barclays Bank, Capital One, MasterCard, and I could go on. The other one, which is probably inextricably linked, is financial propriety. A decision perhaps in the early stages of your university career to invest heavily in Brains, J.B. Wetherspoon, and similar PLCs. As you go as graduates in the world, I hope you take with you happy memories of your time here, determined to use your talents in the service of humanity. Know that your relationship with Cardiff University is a lifelong one, and as an alumnus, our university alumni office will maintain contact with you, enabling you to share the many benefits available to Cardiff alumni, and to help you keep in touch with others from your time in Cardiff. This afternoon has been a particular privilege for me for two reasons. The first is that I've had the honour to share the platform with the student president, Joe ARCHI, and we've worked very closely together last year. And student presidents come and student presidents go, as I well know now, one many years ago. But Joe has been singly successful, and all the university administration will miss him greatly. The second is to thank Robert Court for his performance when you came in, playing the organ in a superb manner that he does, and will on leaving. I know, as you leave this auditorium, there will be a great degree of pride amongst parents, and I share it because, apart from I think one person on the platform, my daughter graduated this afternoon. I trust you will enjoy success in your future careers. Congratulations and good luck. Thank you.